Hello everyone, CrystalFissure here, and welcome to another edition of ISGP Talk. Today we are here with community legend Yogamoanyo and his dog Romper, who is sleeping, having a great time. As you can tell. Now, Yogamoanyo, when I sent you these questions, the first question I sent you was, how do you feel like you went in your first tournament so far? Which is a very clear copy and paste from another competitor.
I can tell.
So, yes, I guess let's rephrase that question, shall we? And say, how do you feel like you went in your first ISGP so far? There we go.
With Spyro speedruns, the Spyro Cup count, because that's technically the first one that I kind of like came back for.
That's true. Although that was your alter ego technically, so
yes,
you know we can.
It was.
Yeah.
My good friend RCRPNR.
Good friend. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, very good
first non-single elimination ISGP tournament. So yeah.
It's been pretty good, especially because I was in IAS, for people who don't know, before, like pre Spyro speedruns. And it was way slower. So just like coming into an environment that was like much more hectic and felt more,
absolutely,
I guess, like, what's the word? Felt more like better managed, I guess. It's pretty nice, like, especially because I've been a part of so many tournaments and a part of all the stuff from IES, ISGP, whatever. It felt kind of nice also just kind of coming in and being a little more serious, even though I took like the second half of my races, I think way more seriously than I did the first half.
That's a good point, yeah. And the thing is as well, I think, we were talking about this in one of the other calls, but one thing that's really interesting is, sorry, I'm just getting rid of my Eclipse mint there. I still had that and I looked like a bit of a douche, like sort of chewing on a mint. But anyway, what we were talking about in that call was, it's interesting how, back in the day we used to organize tournaments on Skype. Like that's what we did. Yeah. Like we did not have a server. Like how the hell did we do anything? Like
it was crazy. We had like a group call. For people who don't know that, we just always were full of people, and people would just hop in and out. So.
But how many group calls were made over the years? Literally thousands of calls. I could
log on to my account. I still probably have like some sort of chats hidden.
I wish I don't anymore. Like they're long gone for me because of like old PCs. It's so that's one of the more frustrating things about Skype actually. How like a lot of it doesn't save if you move. But yeah, so we were both in those old tournaments together. We actually did what I would consider like one of the earlier exhibition races, as you'd call it. It was a consequenceless Spyro toasty race or something like that, with me, you, and Rabid Wombat JR, which I still remember. I still have quotes from that run. I might link it in the description.
I kind of went in a circle, confused where the entrance was for a second.
You were confused.
Yeah, I was confused.
So this is CrystalFissure versus
Yogamoanyo.
Yogamoanyo. That's an awesome username, but I keep forgetting it.
No, Mr. Fraser Films is obsessed with Grubby Ratchet 5.
Lag spike! Ah!
Oh, go, CrystalFissure.
That's a really good one. That was fun.
You're right. You're a real old guard guy, and probably like somewhere in the middle of the skill level. But I think that you may have been a little bit. Maybe not taken aback, but like I think that maybe you didn't expect it to be at this level, hence why you haven't made it to round 2. Would that be right?
Yeah, like when I first was doing stuff, like runs and stuff, I also kind of like had the mentality, especially because I haven't really like sped run Spyro really seriously or whatever. I knew some things, but not like a whole bunch. Yeah. So I would just go in and be like, I'm just not going to practice. I'm just going to have fun,
Yeah.
And just kind of do whatever.
Yeah.
And I did that, and it worked for a Gork, and that's like it. Everybody else clearly didn't do good, but MTB, my race versus MTB, I told him, I was like, let's just like not practice to have fun. But I just didn't do very well.
Yeah.
But then after that, I was like, I'm going to start being more serious to see if I can really get that push to try to be in round 2.
Yeah.
So then once I start practicing and stuff, then I feel like I can do much better. I think I'm like middle of the pack if I don't practice, but I think if I practice, I'm like a bit above average, basically.
That's right. I agree. Actually, to be honest, I would almost say that we're more similar, actually, you and I, where we're both like not pro level, but not bad, you know, like kind of like that. That's firmly sort of middle ground. Could go up, but probably don't practice enough to go up, you know. Like that's kind of our thing, you know. We just kind of go, let's race, you know, and who knows? Yeah, it's harder to, you know, to plan runs around that and, you know, get the right, you know, routes and stuff like that, routes, whatever.
Sometimes I'd have to ask somebody, like Ratchet. I asked him for a few routes. I was just like, do you know something that like? Yeah,
he's good with that kind of strategizing as well. Yeah, and
I was actually talking. Speaking of, you want to know about some older stuff too. Even speaking about like routing. When I did my race for Amelia, when I practice it, me and Mayonnaise Doctor, or Mayo Doctor, Crash Dude Hedgehog is
Crash the Hedgehog.
Me and him actually came up with a route for what I should do for my run. So it's whenever I start practicing, I feel like I just feel so much more confident and way better.
Yeah, well, that's a race where if you don't practice it, you would have done horribly, to be honest, because like one of those ones you've got to really think about. That was great, actually. And what about, so yeah, just I guess generally, so what are your thoughts on Group A then? You know, beside what you've already said.
Everybody is pretty good. Like, again, like you said, I was not really expecting how good some people were going to be.
Yep.
I knew Nintendo Gen was going to be good. Like, it's pretty obvious Angus was going to be good.
Yeah.
Because even when I raced him in Spyro Cups or whatever, he was still doing good. And everybody else was pretty good. I definitely didn't think MTB was going to be as good as he ended up being.
Yeah.
When I was against him, at least. So he did good. Sandy was good. I think in one of the first like casts, like the ISGP casts, I said Group A is probably the most like anyone can sort of go round, I thought, and that's kind of how it's been. Like, everybody's had like really similar points, so it's kind of what I expected, but maybe the people that I thought were going to be a little worse were better than I originally anticipated.
Yeah, well, someone like Paul. Paul's a good example. Netty Excalibur, I think he's a good example of someone that's kind of, you know, exceeded expectations a little bit. He had not been, a bit like you, he had not been involved for quite a while. So, you know, he came back. I mean, yeah, similarly, he came back with the Spyro Speedruns Cup as well, like you. But yeah, he'd also been gone, and I think he'd done a great job. And the problem is that if you guys ended up on the same amount of points, which are you on the same amount of points? Do you have 4 wins?
I think technically we are.
Yeah.
I think I was talking to Angus actually the other day, and I don't know if I should say if I am or not going around 2 at this point, because I'm talking to him. I don't know if he's going up.
I think because you lost to Paul, correct?
I lost to like everybody in the top 4. I think.
Yeah, that's why you're out, because I think you were head-to-head same points as Paul, but you lost to Paul. So that means that, you know, you go under, basically. So it's unlucky.
I think the week 6 or whatever the last one was uploaded, the one where the intro was the girls instead.
Yeah.
I think it still said I technically could get in to the top row, and I think I could have if Beeford pushed ahead because I beat him.
Yeah. That's right.
But that didn't end up happening, so I ended up losing. But it's fine.
You know, there'll always be more though. Don't worry. And you know, tag stuff.
We have exhibition races.
Yeah, exhibitions and tag tournaments and future stuff. But yeah. And what about some of the other groups? What have you seen from some of the other groups that you've enjoyed or watched?
So some of the other groups have been pretty crazy, actually. Like, for example, Gladiator was like dominating.
Agreed.
He only has one loss, I think, at the time of everything uploaded currently.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he was undefeated for a really long time. So that was insane. I don't even know who he is, I don't think, offhand. So I didn't know that he would be super good for Group B. And Toto obviously not being like up at the top, and Wutsu's actually not being like, basically them two not being top 2 kind of like crazy to me, because I figured they would be top 2.
No, Group B I think is the most dense group at this point, you have to say, especially now with the addition of Tooney, where it's just like, you know, what do you even, like who gets through there? Like, and I think as of recording, as of upload, it may still not even be finalized. So hopefully it is,
that
but
group
we'll
is
see.
pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's
unfortunately,
a
the
wild
only
one.
person I knew was going to lose was Spyro Jam. He's never been too good, unfortunately. Sorry, Spyro Jam.
No, Spyro Jam is like again, another old school guy that just does it for fun and, isn't really about like, he's just here to have fun, which is great.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's
nah.
what I was here for too. I was here for the fun.
That's
and
right.
then like Group C, Charm Sky rocked it. She was undefeated, I think, for a really long time too.
Yep.
Until her last 2 uploads, I want to say, and those were the losses.
It was like Liam and Luke she lost to, and that was interesting because that she did Spyro 1 against both of those guys, and those two are both very good at Spyro 1. So I guess you had to do races. That's fair enough, but absolutely a tough one.
And Yeah. Oh, and I was just gonna say, with Luke coming in, I sort of figured he was gonna be high up there. I was actually surprised that he lost one. So
I know. What can I say?
I honestly think
boys?
you just like take everybody out of the water. Just don't play Spyro 1 versus him, and you're good.
No. Yeah, that's right. And also play him in bingo, because the bingo adds a little bit of like intrigue to it. Adds a bit of what's the word?
It's like a bit of uncertainty or whatever.
Yeah,
like
it's a bit of luck based as well.
You have to sort of go. Yeah, it's a bit luck based. You have to sort of improvise the things on the spot if you're not practicing too hard for it.
That's right.
And you might not know. You might think yours is the fastest, but then like another line.
Yeah, right. The line is quicker and like
faster.
And like sometimes as well you've got like lockout, which is the craziest type, and lockout will definitely be something that we see a lot in the upcoming tag stuff, where lockout is amazing because you could have someone just miss out on a goal, and then that goal's done. You've got to go to the next thing. Like that's where route, like having a good route is like insane and like really, really fun. So I'd like to see you in that kind of race. Actually, that'd be a lot of fun.
That'd be a lot of fun.
I love it. I love the tag stuff. Like I can't stop talking about the tag tournament from 2018 because it's such a unique concept. Do you reckon actually, sort of like randomly, do you reckon that there's a potential for you to tag up with an old friend with the tag tournament potentially?
I mean, I would say so. Why not?
Yeah, that'd be
I'm
sick.
just kind of just having fun. I would tag out with any random person, honestly.
Yeah.
Whatever. Let's go.
I reckon I'd love to see it. I'd love to see the people from the past or even some new people. It'd be great to see. With tag with you. And what about Group D? Just briefly, what about Group D?
Group D again, kind of is how I expected it to go. I don't think I rated Danta very high. I'm not really sure though. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I knew like Desert was gonna go high up. I knew Ratchet was gonna go pretty high up.
Yeah.
Desert's been doing really good. So
he has undefeated. So
he's been doing insanely
unreal.
Good. So
unreal.
Yeah. I wouldn't actually doubt if he ends up winning the entire thing. Honestly,
you know what?
Probably like one of my number 1 picks right now.
Yeah. I would love to see it. I think against someone like a Luke and against someone like a Toto, it becomes quite difficult. But I mean, if they don't
actually like speedrun.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah. We're also so casual here, but no, that's a good point. I think a lot of us old school guys are really like kind of rooting for Dessert Monkey because it's just kind of like holy shit, like no one really expected it. It almost feels bittersweet because he's been like always involved in like he's been keeping up with, he kept up a whole bunch of the wikis and I think he still does it, which is crazy. Thank you very much, Desert, for all your work. Yeah, he's a very hard worker. That's why he's a mod. He keeps everything in check. Good lad. But yeah, and what about some of your favorite races, either that you've been in or watched so far in the tournament?
So I hate always making my races a favorite, but I had a lot of fun with the Sendy race.
Yep.
The Sendy race was a lot of fun, especially because I probably could have won if I didn't completely screw it up, but it's whatever. But I love the fact that I screwed it up, and not only did I screw it up, but I stuck, even though I was over an hour and I already lost, I stuck with the entire run, and the entire video's up of me just finishing the run for an hour.
Yeah. Oh my god.
The entire call was pretty fun.
The longest run on the channel so far, like for this tournament.
It's funny because I think Ratchet, who was I think he was editing it. He wanted to make it shorter, but he didn't end up doing it. And I'm like, oh, that's great. Everybody gets to see me just run around like 40, 50 minutes just trying to fix my own error.
Insane.
And it was really fun. I thought it was really, really funny. So that match was really enjoyable. It's probably my favorite one of the bunch overall, just because I just thought it was stupid how fun it was. And there's a good quote of me yelling about how I'm at Scorch and how I wanted to beat Scorch because Ratchet was like, why are you beating Scorch? You don't need to beat him.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
it's a mental victory.
Yeah. And again, any Head Bash Apocalypse run has been really fun. Like the one with me and Angus was a lot of fun. So, and I don't think there's been too many of them, which kind of sucks because that was a lot of fun. Those are a lot of fun.
They are. It's just a hard one because it's just a very weird category, and not everyone wants to do them, and it can really ruin or make runs. So I think people are kind of scared of them.
You should force a run on round 2 or something because they're a lot of fun. Or round 3 or whatever.
God, that'd be
hilarious. They're so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a good list.
Does it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I was going to say as well, so what about round 2? How do you think people are going to fare so far from the people that that are going through? I know it's not entirely confirmed yet, but just...
Again, I think Desert, because I know he's going through, I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Luke, too, is going to be pretty rough. So for like the vast majority of people, I would honestly say too, I think Angus is going to be pretty hard to beat. I feel like every time I see his runs, he's always doing like consistently really good.
He is. That's very true.
So I think those 3 are like the ones people should be looking out for the like most right now, and probably Gladiator too. If you want to put like the 4 people you should be paying the most attention to.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Absolutely.
Because again, especially Gladiator, because I didn't even assume anything from him, and then
he was just in the IS. He was just in the Spyro Speedruns Cup as well. Had a match against Alice, won that, and then I can't remember if I'm like freezing on whether he actually made it to round 3. But he did beat Alice in the first round, from what I recall. So so it should be interesting to see him definitely. And what about outside of ISGP? What are you doing at the moment? Are you doing anything with the whole pandemic, or what's going on with you?
Not really. I mean, stuff is finally opening up where I'm at, because I'm in the United States, as people can tell from my accent.
No idea.
So things are way stricter over here. So we can't really go out and do a lot of stuff, but they're finally like opening up parks and whatever.
Yeah, that's nice.
So at least like go take a hike now and just kind of chill. But for the most part, I'm just hanging out, just kind of talking with my friends, playing games, making music, just mostly my normal routine of stuff that I do. It's just kind of amplified because everybody's home right now. Can't really do much outside at the moment because everything's so closed. So I'm just kind of chilling, just doing my own thing.
That's good. So it's good. There's been plenty of time for everyone to do like all their runs, like get everything done on time. Like it's been such a great one, and like the pandemic is obviously terrible, but at least there's something to do during it, sort of thing. I think that's definitely like a saving grace.
I don't know if this is the fastest tournament in terms of matches getting done, but there have been over 100 matches in like a month or like a month and a half or something.
Like almost 2 months now, but like it's almost been 20 a week, like uploaded. So
which is insane. Especially when I'm thinking about the older tournaments. Like you'd be lucky if you could see the grand finals within a month of each other or something ridiculous.
It was crazy. Like back in the day, like how difficult it was to get people to do 3 races in round 1.
It really was.
People were just
like round 1. Yeah, for people who don't know, round 1 would be like not many races, not nearly as many races, and it would still take like 3 months just for one group to finish up.
Sometimes you wouldn't have people even finish a race at all. Like
there were so many people that wouldn't finish races at all. So
the classic example was Yogamoanyo 86 in I think it was IS5 going through with 1 loss. That was hilarious because he lost to VGR. So
Yeah, but nobody else uploaded.
yeah, that's
so
right. No one else did anything. The other two
not
guys
true.
just yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? We've lesson learned. I think people are a bit more efficient now. It's a bit easier to record. We've got better computers. Blah blah blah. So
Yeah, because
the
that was
times have
2010,
changed.
so that was almost the Wild West.
I mean, you know, Max is still using his same laptop. Malmo Club, he's still using his same laptop. But other than that, most people
he was
have.
doing great in the tournament.
Yeah, don't worry, Max will be back for sure. For sure. Actually, maybe you team with him. That's not a bad idea if you do a tag
That
tournament.
would be great because we had the
California.
whole RCRPN beef and
No
both
sh-
California
oh,
and
yeah.
all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
That'd actually be perfect.
That is actually perfect. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. All right,
That'd be
great
a lot.
stuff, Yogamoanyo. Good to hear from you. And yeah, we will not be seeing you in round 2, but we'll be seeing you on the channel for sure. So that's it's not
I'll
the
be
end.
doing exhibition races.
it's gonna be great.
flags. I'll do whatever. If anybody wants to do a race with me, I'll probably like, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
I think you and me wanted to maybe do an Ape Escape run at some point.
Yes, we're planning a whole Ape Escape thing. That's right. That'll be a great
Which
idea.
that'll be a lot of fun because
I mean-
I know you and me both love that game.
And I have been
Yeah.
wanting to do an Ape Escape tournament literally since like IES 8. I have begged, like I remember back with IES, I was like, we have to do Ape Escape. No one's ever wanted to do it. Maybe one day we'll look into it, but at least a race would be fantastic. All
Oh,
right.
absolutely, yeah. We could do any of the 3 games. People just gotta stick around, look for those exhibition races and all that sort of stuff, and you see more of me and more of everyone else, really.
Yeah, it's gonna be fantastic. All right, thank you very much, Yogamoanyo, and we'll speak to you very soon. Goodbye.
All right. Bye, everyone. Enjoy the races.